Welcome to the North and Mouth podcast. First of all, don't forget to subscribe. You can keep us doing what we're doing.
You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere else.
And today, we've got a lot of shit to get through. So, welcome back. How was your holiday?
It was good.
You good?
Yeah. Just
I
not
realised I've
long
not
enough.
actually asked you yet.
No, yeah. Just not long enough, but they never are.
No, they never are.
No.
So back to it. We're going to start with, what is this shit?
Murder, man run out and it's murder.
Yes, this week we've got a song suggested by one of our loyal fans, Mr. Belsham, who suggested the song Blade Brown Blocks Hot featuring Giggs. I'm not sure who the artist is or what the song name is.
I did genuinely think it meant Ryan Giggs at first.
Hell. Right, I like rap, grime, whatever you want to call it these days.
Uh-huh.
I like it. This was shit.
Yeah.
Right. Usually I like to defend the choice, apart from this and the Poppy song that you chose a couple of weeks
Great
ago. It was
artist.
dreadful. What are your views on it?
Oh, it was fucking awful.
It was fucking terrible.
The chorus, I thought that was a joke.
I thought, because he did suggest another video that with Pete and Baz,
Yeah,
two old blokes. I think
blokes,
it is
yeah.
a joke.
Yeah, this wasn't.
So
a
I
joke.
clicked on that one first and thought, oh yeah, it's a joke. So the next one might be a joke, and it took me a while to figure out that it wasn't.
Yeah, I never get the obsession with the cheap tracksuits and the expensive bling. But let's go and record it in a shitty area.
Yeah,
we're down with the roots.
there were a lot of car parts on shelves
It was
behind them.
basically a tip. It was a break.
Yeah, they were in a dump.
Yeah.
Like you, I do look for talent, and you know, in the lyrics or the style or the production quality, it weren't there.
No, his presence. I don't know who's the main bloke. I presume that's.
I have no idea. I've heard of Giggs.
Blade Brown. I presume that's Blade Brown.
Could be Blade. It could be Blocks Hot.
I'm pretty sure from the shit that he was saying, I think Blocks Hot is the song.
Oh, yeah, because I think one of the lyrics was "Blocks hot like a boiled egg." It sounded like. I'm not sure.
I mean, sublime,
what that means.
Sublime lyrics. I mean, I was sitting there going, "Wow."
Yeah.
But his presence, as far as like delivering it, it was almost like he couldn't be asked as well. Like in the video, he was a bit.
Yeah. Oh, here we go again. It probably like the 98th take. So
Maybe,
No.
maybe. I mean, when I looked at some of the comments that were on that video, and there was people, I think, that they weren't good, and these sounded like they were from fans.
what the comments?
The comments, yeah. There was some bloke that was saying something about how, he just doesn't bother anymore, or he doesn't, or something.
Well,
like
that came across in the music
Yeah, I
video.
know, it really did, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I thought, I couldn't bear the thought of searching this bloke's
No,
history up.
I had no interest in looking any further into anything that he's made.
No, and I've not heard of either of them. But there was a massive overuse of the N word,
Yeah.
like obsessively. It was every second word.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I think some people use that in place of a personality.
Yeah, it was dreadful.
It was.
I know I say that a lot about that kind of music, but fuck me, it was depressing.
Terrible choice, Mr. Belsham.
It really was. Murder.
Well, I've got a question for you.
Oh God.
Do millennials need to know about World War II?
Would you like the long answer or the short answer?
We'll go with a short.
Yes, you fucking should.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. This is from the Good Morning Britain video that I think you sent to me this week.
Oh yeah. My thumbs were scorching as I was.
Yeah.
My brain was going mental.
Yeah, so they had Sir... I didn't catch his name.
Sir
Michael Wilmshaw. He's head of Ofsted, basically.
Former Ofsted Chief Inspector.
Yeah. And Freddie Bentley.
Who is from the first series of The Circle, which is a shit social media based game show. So, I mean, I understand when they do programs, they like to get a bit of balance. But when you've got someone who's in charge of keeping the standards of teaching our children, and a waste of space child that goes on a reality TV show based around social media. It's not much of a balance.
It's not, no, because the first thing he said in this video was, first, I want to start off by saying I find it like, obviously, it was a hard situation, World War II.
It was a hard situation, World War II.
Yeah. And I don't want anybody to think I'm being disrespectful in that way. Not sure, I'm not sure who the fuck this idiot is. Right.
Now, I love my history.
Yeah.
And it's massively essential for people to know what happened in the past. Because I remember hearing something before about how in times of peace, let's say weaklings are bred, but then the other way around in times of...
Men are made in times of war.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But you kind of need to know. It's funny, when you see how the Nazi Party started...
Yeah.
Extremism and stuff like that, and far right and everything, and you see...
Which, I've got a little thing to show you here.
Oh,
right.
God, yeah.
Have you heard of the Golden Dawn Party in Greece?
I've heard of them.
Right. This is their flag that they use, alright? This isn't particularly subtle. Alright? This isn't fucking subtle. Yeah?
It looks like a really shit magnetic game.
I'm not going to have that in view on the camera, because...
It looks like we're endorsing them.
Yeah, there's a massive rise in nationalism and extremism in Europe, in our country as well. It's this fucking idiot needs to remember this. This could happen again.
Of course, it could. Yeah.
Maybe not on the same scale.
It doesn't. It could happen on the same scale. Who says it couldn't? But what I was getting so enraged when I first saw it, when I sent it to you. I had to send it to you, and then when I re-looked it again just to kind of take some notes on it, I was enraged that someone like this exists, and why we're giving someone a platform who is so sort of like caught up in such a really shit, pathetic life.
Yeah, he said he left school not knowing anything about general life.
Yeah, I didn't know anything.
And I think that's a trend that's continued throughout his life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's...
And he said, I don't think we should let it go completely. Just let it go a little bit.
Yeah, just let go of the past a little bit. Try telling that to the family of the Jews that were involved, or anybody else.
What annoyed me as well was how... I don't know how old he is. I presume he's like very, very early 20s.
I think he was early 20s, yeah.
People younger than him fought and died.
People younger than the age that you were allowed to join the army.
People joined
went
up.
And joined lied about their age to join the army.
Can you imagine the beaches of Gold, Omaha? Stick him on there with a rifle. He's basically just cannon fodder in that situation. But to turn around and say stuff like that, saying that it was so intense, it was.
That's
war.
War.
But that's war. But you should learn about these things. I know some people may not have a interest in history as much, but you should
still
learn
need
the
to
basics.
know.
Yeah, you should know what happened in the past. Because who's to say if you didn't know anything, if you weren't aware of the past, and you could have said something that was, say, inappropriate as far as Jews or German or something. You could have said something and you had no fucking clue.
Well, this prick did anger me. He was sat there, forehead full of Botox, face full of makeup, lip fillers, sat there wearing a fucking poppy. What a fucking hypocrite.
It did make me think that they've just said to him before they go, because anyone that goes on, you'll notice they've got that on. I reckon they've just turned around to him and gone, it's just part of the program. Just put it on. And he go, yeah, I love veterans.
Yeah, he needs to fucking bow his head in shame.
He's probably one of those pricks that doesn't even realise he's talking through the hours or the minute silence.
No, yeah, he won't. He won't even recognise it.
Why is everyone really quiet?
Yeah.
Why is everyone really quiet? One of the other things they mentioned, because it was very clear that the presenters didn't
want him there.
Yeah, and they turned around and said to him, like, it kind of like it prepares you for maybe standing up to people like bullies or knowing the how things like this can start and being aware of it and being prepared and learning from your mistakes. And he did say, the bloke, Sir Michael Walsh, I apologise, I can't get his name, but was saying that people who don't learn from history tend to repeat it.
Yeah.
And it's true. And if you don't, obviously you need to learn from the mistakes of the past, and you need to learn.
Hence the phrase, lest we forget.
There we go.
It's fucking mental to think that it shouldn't be taught. Why would anybody think that you shouldn't learn about this? Children's mental health has never been an issue. Children don't know the concept of poor mental health.
I know, and it's not. It is shocking. I understand if you don't know about World War II, or obviously that's more say modern history. But
yeah.
When you first hear about it and you see about things, it is shocking. But I don't.
To suggest that Brexit is a more important subject to be taught in schools than the fucking Holocaust.
I always thought that. I don't think you get boofed with it. I always remember it a bit sort of slowly ingratiated into my...
Yeah, I'm not being funny. They're not telling 8-year-olds the ins and outs of cramming people into gas chambers throwing people in mass graves and...
No, you learn bits as you go along.
Yeah,
don't
that's
you?
introduced slowly.
Yeah.
It's not...
But what?
Oh yeah, 20 million people were gassed to death at Auschwitz. It's not like that. It's...
No, he was just... I'm incensed that I am the same. I said to you this last night. I am the same species as that thing.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking idiot. He put in a bit going. I'm someone who can hold their own and all this stuff.
Christ,
and I thought, like I said, going back to that, you stuck him in a war zone.
Stick
he might
him
as well
in
blow his own fucking
Moss
head off.
Side. He might as well blow his own
Not
head
even that.
Somewhere slightly rough. I don't think he's ever been outside of Essex.
He'd probably get uncomfortable being at Blue Water when it's busy.
Yeah.
He just lives in his own bubble completely. And what was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He obviously had pre-thought about catching the Ofsted bloke out, and tried to say how he didn't learn about it, and how if this bloke from Ofsted was so intent on and having this, why didn't I learn about it? And he turned around and went, well. He said, well, he completely cut him down and said,
"Oh, did you not?"
No, he said, Ofsted don't set the guidelines.
Yeah.
The government does. And it was just, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even realise that. You're that much of a fucktard that you don't realise that it's Ofsted are there to keep up the
standards.
Yeah, to make sure that what the government set curriculum is
being taught.
But he's going, oh, because you believe in the World War II so much, why didn't you push that while you were in Ofsted? I'm like, you're just such an idiot.
I don't think this guy fully appreciated the fact that if these lads hadn't gone to war, if we hadn't won, he wouldn't be allowed to exist.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
The freedoms that he's been allowed just wouldn't have been the case if we'd have been taken over by Nazi Germany.
No, 100%. 100%. It bothers me that someone like that, and how many followers does he have?
About 100,000, I think it was, something like that.
He now projects a certain image, or he has a platform to talk to to his followers, and he's teaching these people.
Yeah. Oh, you don't need to know about this.
You don't need to know about that.
The guy that openly admitted that he knows nothing about general life. It's a fucking joke. The whole video, I've never watched Good Morning Britain, whatever it's fucking called. In my eyes, you're better off eating your Cocoa Pops in silence. Right, so UFC 244.
Mm-hmm.
Diaz versus Masvida.
Yes.
For the BMF title.
Right. There's two things here.
Oh, okay.
Let's discuss the bad thing first.
What, the fact that UFC's trying to turn into WWE?
Yes.
Okay.
When I first heard about this baddest motherfucker belt,
yeah,
I was a bit like,
that's funny.
Oh, you're doing it? You're actually doing it?
Oh.
And then again, I mean, I love The Rock. When I was properly into wrestling before, I loved The Rock.
Right.
Rock was my favourite.
But I'm not being funny. If they were going to get a wrestler to deliver the bad motherfucker belt, you get a bad motherfucker. You get Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's only one option for that.
Oh, no, no.
You have him come out, cans of beer, glass breaking. It's the only way to do it. Having The Rock walk in,
Yeah, to be fair, he did do his trademark. He used to do this thing where he'd go like that, and it would be like he kind of did that, but
it's not the same as glass breaking and can smashing, is it?
It really isn't.
And that's what it should have been.
He's been there before. He does like a bit of UFC.
Yeah,
but if that's where it's got to, I mean, as far as a draw, the stupid thing is they're kind of appealing to casual viewers as well.
Yeah,
which is irritating because Masvida and Diaz is a great fucking fight.
It is.
You don't need a belt for that. You really don't.
That'd have drawn the crowd anyway.
Great.
They're both great. Masvida only recently though.
I think he's had quite a long career, but I think
he's come into his own now.
Yeah, he's just fucking. I love the. Actually, no, hang on. Let's finish talking about that. I don't like the way that it's so over the top. It does dilute the proper MMA feel to it.
Yeah, because it's always been quite professional. They've always sort of treaded the line between the professionalism of boxing and the sort of comedy aspect of wrestling. Because they've always had characters like McGregor. Chael Sonnen was the original sort of Conor McGregor shit talker.
Bad guy, yeah.
And he was in it for years and years from the beginning.
He's great.
He is great. So
I do blame Conor McGregor for making it a
he's
standard
tipped it over the edge now, and they.
Where do you go from there though? Because if every fight that he's involved in, there has to be some sort of incident beforehand to promote it, you're almost, to the casual viewers that you've collected from Conor McGregor's fan base, you're now going.
You might as well be wrestling.
You've now got this every single time, and you have to generate some sort of thing to make it, and
it doesn't need it.
No, it really doesn't. It really, really doesn't, because they've got so many talented people on there.
Yeah, unbelievable people. Yeah, them two especially.
I'm annoyed that they had to, because what do they do with that belt now? Is it just like that's done?
I think it were a one-off. They're not going to bring it back.
But then if you do it one-off, then you've got,
I think the only way they bring it back is if they did a rematch.
Yeah, but then why bring that sort of random shit in there? It is like WWE, because you just the WWE have got a 24/7 title at the moment. Do you remember back in the day the hardcore title? Do you remember that?
No.
Just basically you could win it anywhere, and it was a bit of a joke thing.
Right.
They've got a 24/7 belt where people could just pin somebody in the locker. All this shit. It's kind of a bit like that. It's just a random fucking belt.
All right.
It makes no sense. But on the other side,
it was a fucking great fight.
What I saw, I watched quite intense. There's quite a few highlights of it. I love the way Masvidal straight away joked.
And he ran, but I'd still be running now.
Yeah.
If he'd run at me like that, it were.
There were people making fun of Diaz for.
And I just, they were, and I just thought, hold on, there ain't a man alive that'd stand there and take that.
Considering what we saw with Ben Askren with the just
5 seconds, whatever it were,
like completely ploughed through him, you would fucking run.
Yeah, of course you would, because you don't want to be known as the second guy that's happened to.
Straight away.
You've already seen it happen 2 weeks before. You don't want to see it then happen to you. No chance.
But the bits I saw, he dropped Diaz quite early, I think.
We in the first minute, just towards the back end of the first minute, he dropped him onto his back, and I thought it were over. I thought we were going to be over in the first round, because he hammered him for the 3 rounds?
5, I think. No, it was set for 5, but it didn't go the full distance. Yeah,
he hammered him. There were moments when Diaz, you could see the magic, but he's a late game fighter usually. It is the 4th and 5th rounds.
He's a slugger.
Where it comes into his own, when the other guy's knackered, and he's just like, I'm what? Yeah.
I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Especially when he beat McGregor, and he just...
Yeah. There's that amazing little clip of him. He's got somebody in some sort of leg lock, and he's just like that, and the guy's like trying not to tap out, and he's just there like, I know I've won this match. I'm just waiting for him to tap.
Brilliant. He got cut straight away as well, I think.
Oh yeah, I think there were an elbow and then a kick really early on, and he started bleeding. But like around his eyes now, it's like 90% scar tissue. I think around his eyes, it's fucking.
Him and Nick are a different breed, though.
They've been fighting since they were born, basically, haven't they?
And I love the fact that he wasn't queuing up to come back either before. He was just sort of like, whatever.
I want to come back. It is what it is. Yeah,
smoking weed at his
weighing and the press stuff, weren't they?
The press stuff beforehand when he's doing like an open workout and stuff.
Yeah,
I think he's brilliant, and so much more behind him than Conor McGregor and stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'd have loved for this fight to go the full 5 rounds.
Yeah, it always feels a bit shitty when there's a stoppage because of that, especially when someone is trying to carry on.
Yeah, because he did not want to.
No, he wasn't. He was already forward. He was getting ready to go.
The doctor had said, no, we're stopping this, and he'd gone to start the fight.
Yeah.
And then, but I sort of get it after when I saw the day after, and he'd had 26 stitches around his eye, and it were proper old school stitches.
It almost
as well.
looked like a transfer that had stuck on his face.
It were a mess, and he were outmatched in this, I think. But then, who knows? Another 2 rounds, he could have come into his own. Because
when did he get stopped? Was it the fourth? Was it the fourth or the third?
End of the third.
Start of the fourth.
Yeah. Because he were trying, and like I said, you could see the bits of the magic coming through.
I saw bits. The bits that I saw. I mean, I didn't see the full fight. I did see the highlights, but there was about 11 minutes of highlights.
Yeah.
Not 11 minutes. That's what I'm talking about. There was enough for sort of me to see, and it. I don't know whether they properly picked and choose what they showed, but
it were pretty much constant action.
But it just shows what the pair of them. Just how like I can't even, because I'm not American. I can't say badass. But they
are bad motherfuckers.
Yeah. And this wasn't going to go any other way than them just tearing into each other.
Yeah. If there weren't loads of blood, I'd have been even more disappointed.
It probably would have been more had he not been. I mean, it was a nasty cut as well.
Yeah, always, top and bottom.
Got to think, right? I always think in boxing how. Can you imagine? It's skin and skin pulling skin apart.
Yeah.
Like, how is that going to fit? It's not like you've got like a sharp thing that you've sliced someone with. It's like it's friction.
It is, and it's the edges of your bones as well. Because the one there, the one under his eye, that was just skin touched bone.
Yeah.
And
because it's right there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
His speech is slurring a lot as well, Diaz is.
Yeah,
now, I know he's pretty unintelligible to begin with, but I think it's getting worse.
Yeah. But then it's funny because you never couldn't really understand what he's saying at the end. I mean, when he called out Masvida in his last fight,
I
only really remember him going like, Masvida.
Yeah. But then Masvidal is unintelligible as well.
True.
His bizarre accent.
Did you see him in the after the fight? Eating the pizza.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, sunglasses on and beers and pizza.
Double-sided pizza.
Yeah.
I thought it was a big, massive sandwich when I.
But then I suppose when you've been in training camp and you've not ate any carbs
for Oh God, yeah.
He does it right.
But he did say he has come out and said, as mad as it is, that who did he say that he's willing to step in for if there's a.
Oh yeah, fighting like 2 weeks time.
The next it's not one. Far away, he needs the time to recover. But
Usman and Colby Covington, I want to say.
Oh, I hate Colby Covington.
They think one of them's going to drop out. I think it's them two. And then he said, I'll step in. Which, fair play to him. If he can, and he does, fair play to him.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if Colby Covington's got the interim belt. I could be wrong on that one.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure myself. I'll happily watch him fight again. Soon.
Who? Oh,
Masvidal.
Yeah, 100%. He deserves recognition for being the baddest motherfucker, but definitely didn't need to make a tacky belt for it.
No. And definitely should have been brought in by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So while you're away, there was an incident in Grays, Essex, with the lorry turning up with 39 Vietnamese people?
Corpses.
Yeah,
I did hear about that. Yeah. What a fucking horrible situation.
The first thing I thought was you're getting a window into another kind of life.
Oh, yeah.
Another situation, like a sort of human trafficking.
Which you see in films, you've got Taken and...
Yeah, but you know about these things, but you never...
You're always thinking, it's myth, that don't really happen, it's not as widespread as they think. This was a convoy of 3 lorries. They only found the one that was full of corpses.
Imagine how horrendous that would have been as well.
One of them were the last one to die and had to watch 38 other people die knowing that they were next.
I know. And the thing is as well, don't they get... there's a kind of like a lie told to them that, because I think I'd read something that someone had said that they were told that
it'd be a business class trip to
to
Europe or
and
wherever.
I don't know what they're expecting when they come over, because they inevitably end up in like, I don't say sweatshops, but
growing weed, or they're doing
on farms, don't they?
Yeah,
Stuff like that,
picking fruit, or just doing terrible, shitty jobs that nobody else wants to do.
Yeah.
It's not even a one-off, because a few days later they found 40 Afghan men.
That was in Greece,
in a lorry in Greece.
I think that story, it's the same when we started having sinkholes in the news. It's like the news do try and find, but then maybe you realise as well that this stuff is happening.
And it's not reported on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were alive, these guys. I think, the
Afghans were.
And Iranians and Syrians. But to get into that, I mean, was it supposed to be the one that was in Essex? Was that supposed to be that was a refrigerated truck as well?
Yeah, from what I understand is they bring him in a refrigerated lorry, because the one in Greece was as well, with it turned off. But then if you get to an international border and they look at your freezer trailer temp display on the outside and it's 25 degrees, they go, right, you're opening that up.
I've seen them on border control where they stick like things into it to check.
That's for carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide sensors, which they can do on a normal lorry, but a refrigerated lorry, that's thick walls, you have to open it. Yeah. Whereas they have security seals on them.
Yeah.
So they can't just open them. So if the temp display says -18, there ain't nobody living in there.
Yeah.
It says +25. It's too hot for a refrigerated lorry. So from what I understand is they turn it on not long before the border, go through the border when it gets cold, get through, they're supposed to turn it off. And in this case, they'd forgot to turn it off. Which, what a fucking horrible way to die.
Yeah.
To freeze to death.
I saw that there was apparently two brothers thereafter from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, who've gone to ground, I think, haven't they?
That I think they were saying that whether they own, it's like a haulage company or they'd rented them or something like that. But I do go back to the fact that the most terrifying thing was the window into that way of life, that thing going on. I remember seeing a programme before about Jimmy Savile, and it was his nephew, and he'd gone down to London. The nephew had gone down to London in like 60s or 70s or whatever.
Yeah.
Ended up in this kind of like group of like lads or whatever, and he was only young. He was only like about 14, and he was in a room, and then they brought in all these kids, and then all these like priests and like other people, and then his uncle came in, Jimmy Savile, and he said like, I didn't even think about it at the time, but that was like
looking back, that was just mental. That was
great, but he'd got that window into that, and I'm thinking that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing something that happens a hell of a lot more than we ever think.
Yeah. Also, how do you get into something like that? Like the guy that was driving the lorry, who they originally said, he's only had the lorry 20 minutes. Now they're saying he's a big part of it.
Is this the guy that they arrested?
Yeah, he was only 24.
Yeah, he didn't look very old.
When I was 24, if one of my mates had turned around and gone, do you want to go and pick a lorry full of immigrants up, we'll pay you $5,000. I was going to say then I wouldn't have done it, but I'd have fucking snapped their hand off if the money were right. But what sort of degenerates are you involved in when your associates are people traffickers?
I know, it's another level, isn't it?
Yeah, because the sort of money, the organisation, the whole scenario, this is going to take dozens and dozens of people to organise something like this. How does that not leak out?
They did say that patch where I think he got arrested, I think residents have said before they've seen people
jumping out of lorries. Yeah.
Around, because it wasn't far from the port.
No. But this was a convoy of 3, so say 100 people. 120, more than likely. How many of these a week are coming into the country, these convoys? How many a month? How many a year? Like we've got the figures from the government on illegal immigration that they give out.
Like you said,
they don't fucking have a clue. They don't have a fucking clue.
When you see a lot of like Vietnamese and Chinese coming in and they put them on, like you said, farms, and they'll set them up there and
set them up in little shops doing nails for.
And you'll see people in sort of restaurants, Asian restaurants, and they've built. I've seen it on programs before. They've built in like bedrooms, false bedrooms in behind other walls and all this kind of stuff. Fucking mental. But to be one of those people that arranges that and allows shit like that to happen, it's a
totally different world. And the thing is, if this guy hadn't have opened it up and realised all these people are all dead, and he'd have took it to wherever he were going, and boss had said, "Oh, just throw him in sea," we still wouldn't have known. They'd have been washing up for months and months, and nobody'd know where they were coming from.
I hadn't thought about that, because he opened it up because he got stopped, didn't he?
Yeah. If he hadn't have got stopped and he'd have got to HQ...
What is the procedure? Do you normally open the doors and go, quick, and then open the doors and nothing happens?
It'd be, open the doors, 39 bodies, close the doors, drive to the sea, throw them in the sea.
And then you would... That would be even more confusing,
because they'd be washing up for months and months, and they'd just assume that they were coming in on a boat. It don't bear thinking about. And what sort of fucking catastrophic, terrible situation are they running from?
I know, but then again, they don't know how.
Do they not know we've got Brexit going on? It's bad over here. Yeah. It's bad here.
Well, the youngsters don't even know about Brexit.
Oh yeah, they're not taught about it. They're too busy learning about World War II
and getting distraught about it.
Yeah.
Maybe you should learn about it, because then you'll learn the world is a shit place because 39 people died unnecessarily in the back of a frozen lorry.
Yeah, but we can't teach people about that because it might affect their mental health.
Right, so there's a story going on at the moment involving Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Ah, that subhuman piece of scum.
Now, for the record, I do like Jacob Rees-Mogg.
I'm not sure why. I don't know why anybody would like him.
Well, that's a conversation for another day.
That's not the point here.
But it all stems from him making a comment about Grenfell Tower.
Yes, he did, yeah.
To clear it up. Now, my main issue is the way that the media covers something like this and creates these news stories and these, the online news stories in order to get you clickbait and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all about, I saw it and it said, Jacob Rees-Mogg says that Grenfell Towers should have used common sense, right? He didn't say that. To quote him, he didn't say that specifically, right? He didn't.
Well, I've got the quote here.
Yeah, but it's not like they're making it out as if he's turning around and going, these fucking idiots shouldn't have done it, or they should have used a fucking common sense, the idiots. He's not saying that. He started off by saying the main issue of that tragedy was the cladding. And then he did pay tribute to the people that died. He did mention about firefighters and them doing their job. But he did make a point that the stay put policy isn't a great idea in certain situations, and maybe in this situation, common sense. I mean, I'm not being funny, but if I was in there, I know obviously no one knew that it was going to go up like it did. Yeah. But if you were in a burning building and you got told to stay there, fuck that. I'm not staying in there.
Do you think, though, it's not like it's your neighbour saying, oh, just stay put. It's the firemen that are there to control the fire that are telling you, no, it's safer for you upstairs.
I don't think in a sort of like a life and death situation, I don't think you're just going to go, okay, we'll give us a shout when it's all out. I don't think, considering how bad that situation was. I mean, I don't. Okay, maybe it's slightly insensitive to say common sense. I do get that.
Very insensitive, I'd say.
I do get, I do understand, but I know that I wouldn't have hung round. I definitely wouldn't have hung round. I'd have found the quickest way out possible, regardless.
I would probably agree with you there, but I can see where these people were coming from when a fireman comes to them and says, go back to your room, that. You're all right. And for somebody in a senior position like Jacob Rees-Mogg to suggest that it's a better policy to ignore the advice of the people that are trying to help you in that situation, that's just callously irresponsible.
I wouldn't go as far as to say it like that. But in the whole situation with Grenfell Tower, I do remember when happened, and the inquiry afterwards, and it was basically said that it was the cladding that was illegal, shouldn't be on there. It's so many different tower blocks in the country or in London. It's basically the people who run that thing shouldn't have had that on there.
Well, it was built by the council. There were council flats, Tory council, I will point out, who wrote a report at the time that it were built, saying that they were pleased because they'd saved £293,000 by using the inflammable cladding.
They'd saved people because of it?
No, they'd saved £230,000.
Oh, right. At the time they said that?
Yeah.
Right.
Because they'd used this cheaper, slightly more flammable cladding.
It does make you think.
Which
it does make you
is
think,
the very
right?
essence of Toryism.
Toryism.
I'm using the word.
Make it up a word. No, the thing with that is, it does make you think. Now that it is a bit scandalous, now that we're going, or they're going, we need to check the firefighters because they've done something wrong. Like you should, like ambulance workers, firefighters. So you should never really question unless they've done something grossly.
Yeah.
You know. But to turn around, and it does make you think. Like, has this been sort of like it's got to a point when they've gone, it's a council, and then someone's just gone, don't fucking blame me. Here's some cash.
Potentially, as I believe things like that do happen.
We live in a society where it's like as a mob, and it makes it even more of a bigger mob when it's on social media and we've got access to all this stuff to actually just go. It's like we like to publicly shame someone. We like to make someone squirm. We like to make someone. We know we can go like, you fucked up. Go on. You fucked up. And the jump, because it's such a sensitive issue.
Yeah.
Because it was such a waste of life. It was such a completely avoidable accident. Completely avoidable accident.
If it weren't for them penny pinching Tories, perhaps some of the 72 people might not have died.
I'm not raising the fucking Conservative flag here. My whole thing is more about the coverage of this.
You're just raising the Jacob Rees-Mogg flag over there, aren't you?
I'm saying that I don't believe in people jumping on this whole thing of like, we haven't really sort of nailed one person for this, even though it was the council's fault. Oh, we'll just wait for somebody to make a comment and dive on them and have a go. And this is where I get to Stormzy.
Okay, yeah, because Stormzy had some things to say on this. He called Jacob Rees-Mogg a literal piece of shit, an actual piece of shit, which is correct.
He also came out with these politicians are actual aliens. Now, can I just make a point?
Yes, he did.
Stormzy's a fucking musician. Why are we suddenly going? Oh, Stormzy! Oh, you've got. Well, come on, we'd love to hear. Let's put that out there. I couldn't give a fuck what Stormzy says about that. I couldn't get. Why is he pushing his way in? Why is he? He's a fucking commercial entity himself. It's not like he's turning around and going like he's waving the flag for like, impoverished London. It's not like he's the spokesperson.
I don't know. He does do that.
Of course
though.
He does. Yeah, because he
has the Stormzy. He pays for some impoverished child to go to Cambridge every year.
There's plenty of celebrities that pay for people with scholarships and stuff like that. There's plenty of people that do that.
But is his targeted?
Plenty of people that do charity work, especially for people that are underprivileged.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm just saying that he does it as well. I'm not having it that Stormzy is some sort of saviour and he is now.
I'm not saying he's some sort of saviour. I'm just saying he has a political stance and he sticks to it.
Everyone's got a political stance,
but he has a platform. And you're criticising him for having a platform where he's putting his stance forward.
I'm criticising the fact that he's coming out because he also said this was your fucking fault to Jacob Rees-Mogg, that this happened because of you. That is an incredibly reckless. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. In his actual thing,
in his tirade of tweets,
72 people died in a tragedy you are to blame for is what was in his tweet.
Oh, actually, yeah, it does say that. Yeah.
How is, and we're supposed to go like, oh yeah. Jacob Rees-Mogg was responsible. He was responsible.
I don't know whether he was saying him directly or his political. You only have 140 characters on Twitter.
Oh, bollocks. He wrote these politicians are actual aliens. So
he did put that.
What I'm saying is,
which could be true.
He's got a significant platform.
Yeah.
And he's spouting. He's basically saying stuff that like it's not a massively educated opinion because he's just spouting out something. He might hate him and he might turn around and go, you know, you can. I've got no problem with him saying you're a literal piece of shit.
Yeah, it's true.
I've got a problem with him saying 72 people died in a tragedy you are to blame for.
Yeah, I can see you picking issue with that. But then he followed that up by saying this isn't about politics, it's about the people who govern us lacking the most basic humanity or empathy. Because they don't give a shit about these people. They were just happy that they'd saved 300 grand.
But where are these people? Where are these people? This is what I was getting back to. Where are these people that we've not publicly shamed a specific person from the council that made that decision?
Oh, you know when you were saying earlier about paying people off?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that whole thing. Whole thing.
But we have to jump on
somebody that's making statements about it. They're asking for it. Do you know what I mean? Well, he's saying, oh yeah, they just lack common sense. I'd have been out of there.
We are in a sort of build up to an election as well.
Yeah, it was terrible timing for a Conservative member to start.
What I mean is, news channels, journalists are all looking for the slightest ripple that they can pounce on in this current environment. It was Tory Andrew Bryden that was on Evan Davis's Radio 4 channel, right on the radio, and he was talking to him, and it was set up. It was purposely set up. Now, it was Evan Davis who said, are you basically saying that he's cleverer? Like Jacob Rees-Mogg, is it because and the bloke didn't say yes, he is cleverer, but then the headline reads, Andrew Bryden says Jacob Rees-Mogg is cleverer than people who died in Grenfell Tower, and there's your story. That it's the irresponsibleness and the recklessness of our media that jumps on that. And I was talking to someone the other day about, I think it was about this. I forget what the news story was, and I remember thinking the news story that I heard wasn't correct when I looked it up, and I'd spoken to someone and they went, oh yeah, because of that. And then I went, well no, that's not. If you looked into it, that's not. But people were happy to go. People get their news from a news story headline, and that's it. And they don't read the rest. They don't actually look into it. Now I admit that I don't. I find Jacob Rees-Mogg funny just from like I don't hate him is what I'm saying.
Right.
So maybe I'm a little bit biased in the sense that I'm trying to defend him, but it also flags up an issue that someone can say something, the media pounce on them, and then we get fucking Stormzy in, who it's like let's stop the show because Stormzy is reason here. Stormzy, and he's going, these people are actual aliens. Yeah, definitely.
It could be
Stormzy, and he's to blame for killing those 72 people. Oh, okay, Stormzy, it's not correct, but it's okay. Fuck that. That's not right. That's not right. And
I get where you're coming from, but we do have freedom of speech. You can say what you want. We don't have freedom from consequence.
Jacob Rees-Mogg couldn't.
Well, he did, and then he apologised, and then repeated what he said. In his apology, Jacob Rees-Mogg said, what I meant to say, da-da-da-da-da. However, with hindsight, I wouldn't have stayed there, is what he said. So he apologised for saying what he said, and then repeated it at the end of his apology.
Isn't that him standing by his statement?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying you said he's not free to say what he wants.
If he'd turned around and gone, sorry, I didn't mean to. No, they weren't. They were very sensible, and it's a tragedy. I'd have hated that. At least he's turned around and gone, I didn't mean to offend anyone, because he's obviously not going to go around and go, you fucking poor cunts. He's not while the election's looming. No, exactly. But
maybe just after.
But anyway, he's not going to go out and intentionally do that. So he's not going to go out and intentionally smear his any sort of respect or anything. He's not going to go out and do that. And I think the right thing is to turn around and go, I didn't mean for that to come out, or I didn't mean any offence by that, but I do stand by the fact that such and such. Because people don't. Because let's face it, right? He's not. Neil described him today as
Dr. Flake.
Dr. Flake. I think I'll try and get this right. He described him as a haunted coat stand.
All right. Okay.
And I do get that he's not of this age, right? I do understand that. He is almost like a comic character. I do get that.
He is very separated from most of humanity. I think.
First thing I ever
almost
heard,
as if he was an alien.
An
actual piece of shit alien.
The first thing I ever heard about him was years ago on QI, and Stephen Fry was talking about him, and he said that in a general or in an election, because he's been in politics. I think his dad
for
was
decades now.
No, it's not that. I don't think he's been.
I think 91 was the first time he ran.
What he didn't get, well, basically, when he was out canvassing, going door to door, he was accompanied by his nanny, and he got a lot of grief. And he turned around in a very sort of Marie Antoinette kind of way. He turned around and when people criticised him, he said, "I don't know why everyone keeps going on about me going around with my nanny. If I'd have been going out with my valet, you'd have thought it would be perfectly acceptable." So yeah, that's the first I ever heard of him. I think, and I remember thinking, "Oh fucking hell!" But
he is totally out of touch. I think
he's a bit more smarter into it. I do think he does play to that character just a bit.
Do you think?
Yeah, because let's face it, a lot of people don't necessarily vote on. They vote on the manifesto or
no, they've no idea.
They'll vote. They go, "Oh, I like them."
Yeah,
and in a roundabout way, you can kind of like, if you saw him on, because he's been on programs like Have I Got News for You and stuff like that.
All right.
And he's got, as does Boris Johnson. They've got that sort of public persona as well. So I do think he does play up to that.
Yeah, but these clowns like Boris Johnson don't want a comedy character running the fucking country that I live in.
100%, I agree on that one. He is a buffoon.
Then again, I don't want anybody that's currently running to be running our country. Vive la revolution. There's
no one that really stands out, is there?
No.
It was good. It was very good that Jeremy Corbyn came straight out and said it was crass and insensitive. And this is the kind of conservative government. Hang on, let me just read my notes so I can actually read my pre-read out fucking terrorist speech.
Fucking hell.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I'll be up for a revolution.
You're convinced
if Jeremy Corbyn runs this country, I'm up for a revolution. I'll join you in the forest.
Why wait?
You never know. There might be some sort of as the
Vive. No, not that flag, not that one.
It's almost like a prophecy. There must be some prophecy out there when all else is like falling. When we've got a buffoon running America and we've got a buffoon running this country.
What? So now?
Exactly. It's what I'm saying. That there's going to be someone that's going to step forward and just go.
Just thinking about the people that are in charge of the world at the minute. You've got Donald Trump, Boris Johnson, Kim Jong-un, Chairman, whatever he's called in China, Winnie the Pooh, looking motherfucker. What the fuck has happened? How have we ended up like this? Are we in a simulation? I think we've discussed this before. Is this actually real?
It's basically Charlie Brooker is running the world.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it's turning into a Black Mirror episode.
It is. You do sort of think... I watched a documentary. There's a Michael Moore documentary that's fairly new on Netflix. Fahrenheit 11/9. He did one called Fahrenheit 9/11 years ago, but it's all about the build up to... Pardon me. Build up to the election and him. I think some people were going like, "Oh yeah, he's what? He's actually
winning."
What? I remember when he first got into office. I was at work when he'd come out, walking out onto the stage to do his
inaugural speech, whatever it is,
or just like I've won kind of thing. I thought I was going to watch his head get blown apart by a sniper
that I was
shot.
going to watch
my brain was preparing myself. It was like, you're going to watch someone die here.
Yeah, there's going to be some red mist, and he's just going to drop like a sack of shit. And for some unknown reason, it's not happened. The amount of guns that's in America,
weird.
None of them have shot at him. It's bizarre.
It would just sort of, his skin would envelop the bullet, and then he'd sort of take.
Do you know why?
Sustenance from it, and then spit it out.
Do you know why?
Because
he's an actual alien.
Well, let's just see how Stormzy would run the country then.
I would vote for Stormzy before I voted for Jacob Rees-Mogg.
I certainly wouldn't, because if the guy's music is shit, then his running of the country would be shit as well.
God, here we go. Have you heard Boris Johnson's music recently?
Thanks for watching the latest episode of the North and Mouth podcast. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to head over to our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram feed, you can see all the stuff that we're up to. Not that much. It's just talking and shit.